Hey, this is Joe from Complete Carnivore. If you have been on many grilling sites or Facebook groups dealing with grilling or smoking, you've no doubt seen recipes for smoked queso. Meat Church has a great one out there. That one was pretty popular. I think that kind of kickstarted most of the buzz around it, but I wanted to give it a try. Most of the recipes I've seen use Velveeta though, which there's nothing wrong with Velveeta. I love it. It's great for queso. It melts nice. But I wanted to try it with real cheese and see what happened. I make normal queso with real cheese, and I use sodium citrate to help give it that nice melty texture. The sodium citrate, it's a salt that breaks down the protein structure in the cheese, makes it nice and smooth and melty. Normally cheddar, when you melt it, it's kind of gloppy and oily, and the sodium citrate prevents that. So I wanted to try the smoked queso using the sodium citrate. I have about 720 grams, roughly 14 ounces of sharp cheddar and pepper jack. I'll try not to spill it all over the place. So into the pot that goes. It's just a cast iron Dutch oven here. This is a Lodge pan. I have a bunch of, most of the recipes call for some sort of sausage or ground beef. This is chopped up carne asada. We had tacos on Tuesday and have a bunch of carne asada left over, so I wanted to try to use that. So into the pan that goes. We'll throw a can of Rotel in there. When I make my normal queso, I don't put any Rotel in it or anything. I like the taste of it with, like if I'm making nachos, just put some fresh tomatoes on it. But let's try some Rotel in there. There's all kinds of different flavors of Rotel. You can get different heat levels on it. This is just the regular mild. And here's the, let's add water. When I make my queso, I like to do about a 2-to-1 ratio of cheese to water. You can do different ratios depending on how thick you want it, how thin you want it. So that's, like I said, I had about 720 grams of cheese in there. That's about 350 grams of water or so. There's some water in the Rotel, so I did a little bit less. Once again, if you want a thinner queso, use more. If you want really thick, use less. And then the sodium citrate goes in. In the normal queso recipe, that gets all dissolved in the water and mixed in, but I wanted to try to just make this a dump and go recipe without having to do anything else. So we'll just give it a quick stir. Kind of mix that sodium citrate in there, get everything kind of incorporated. And it goes on a smoker at about 350 degrees for an hour. You give it a stir, let it go for another hour or so. I'm using oak wood today. You can use hickory, you can use mesquite. I think you want a fairly strong wood to get it. So here's the slow and sear kettle. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's right above 350. I'm okay with that. Let me put the cooking grate on here. We'll lift up this, we'll add some oak wood. Let me spin it around so the hinge is over here. Just some small chunks of oak wood. These are all like scraps from the bottom of the bag. Since we just want quite a bit of heavy smoke, I'm good with that. On this goes, and we'll check it in about an hour and see how it is. All right, we're about a half hour in on this smoked queso experiment. Let's see what we got going. I did end up coming back. I added a bit of Meat Church Holy Voodoo rub on the top, just to give it a bit more flavor. But let's stir it, see what we got. It could just be a gloppy mess, or it could end up being something delicious. It still needs more time, but we'll see if it comes together in a nice smooth queso or if it just stays whatever this is. Right now it's not looking good, but we still got chunks of cheese that need to melt. It's still got a ways to go. Still got at least another half hour. So we'll come back and check it in a bit and see if the rest of this cheese melts and starts to separate. I mean, you can see it's kind of getting stringy and starting to do its thing, but I think it still just needs more time. So get a little closer and look. So yeah, you can see there's still there's a lot of liquid in here. But once again, that will all turn into queso theoretically when this cheese finishes melting. So we'll give it another half hour and check back. All right, we're about 25 more minutes in, so 55 minutes or so total. Let's see if this is melted anymore and gotten to be delicious. Ooh, it's looking good. It's definitely liquidy. When it's warm, it's usually going to be more liquidy than when it cools down. So I am thinking this is going to be done. It's quite greasy. I think that might be from the skirt steak, the carne asada that was in there. But I'm going to shut down the grill right now and let this cool a bit, and we'll see another 15-20 minutes. Come see what we got. But it is liquidy. Like I said, a bit greasy. I'm not sure if that's from the cheese or if that's from the skirt steak that was in there, but we'll see what happens when it cools down a bit, and I can get a whisk in there and stir it around. But everything's melted. It's creamy. It doesn't look too grainy or gritty, so I think it did what I wanted it to do. So we'll be back in a few minutes. We'll taste it too and see how it tastes. Go. All right, we're back. Had a chance to cool down a little bit. See, it's got a little bit of a skin on the top. That's normal for this type of queso, but it dissolves right in once you stir it. Again, it's a little bit greasy. I'll have to try this again to see if that's from the meat. Try it without the meat or something, but let's give it a taste and see how it is. Just got some tortilla chips. It is really, really good. It's definitely smoky. Maybe a little bit too smoky for some people. I kind of like it smoky. You taste the meat, taste a little bit of the kick from that Holy Voodoo rub I put in there. It's smooth, it's creamy. I mean, you can see it's very smooth. It's not gloppy or anything like that. Let's see if we can get some of this meat in here. Yeah, that's very good. This is something I'll definitely make again. I want to keep playing with it and trying it. But if you've seen the smoked queso videos that have Velveeta, and you are not a fan of Velveeta for some reason, you want to do it with real cheese, definitely possible. It's definitely doable. Just use some sodium citrate. Once again, it's about 4% sodium citrate by weight compared to the cheese. So I had about 720 grams of cheese, about 29 grams of sodium citrate. And then you could use whatever amount of water you want to, depending on the consistency you want. This was about 50% water. Plus there's water in the can of Rotel as well. So this stuff's really good. You should make it. Use Velveeta if you want. You can use real cheese if you want. Again, I use pepper jack and sharp cheddar. You can add smoked Gouda in there if you want even more smoky flavor. You can do even just regular jack cheese and then add some canned jalapenos or something if you want a little more heat. But I think the pepper jack gives it just the right amount of heat. There's a little bit of peppers in the Rotel too. I think this is about perfect, and I'm going to eat more of this. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those below. I'd be happy to see them, happy to answer them, happy to help you along your way. Thanks for watching.